All right, all right, all right. Welcome in Toilets Title. This is episode number 128. Man, we are inching closer and closer to the big 150. I already had some discussions with Justin and Nate. I can't believe we are this many episodes in, but tonight is a huge one for us. This is a very big one, probably one of the biggest guests we have. We're doing some Scott Fishbowl SFB 12 discussion, and we got on the great Ryan McDowell this evening. So Ryan, welcome to the show. We are so happy to have you. So happy to talk to you this evening. How you doing, man?
Man, doing great. I love SFB season, and glad to jump on here with you guys and talk a little bit about it.
Excellent, excellent. So SFB, when I started my Twitter and being kind of quote unquote trying to be a fantasy football analyst, I got into the Scott Fishbowl, and that was really what got me. It was the networking, huge net. I met so many people, I made so many friends, and it's a huge part of what fantasy football Twitter is. It's a major part of it. And if anybody's listening at home and you're not on Twitter or on social media, you may have heard about Scott Fishbowl. If you haven't, you should look it up, because not only is it something that we play and something we get involved in, but it's also for a great cause, man. There's a lot of people making a lot of donations, and we're going to get into that this evening. But I do want to just briefly bring in the rest of my co-hosts this evening from the Toilets to Titles crew. And this guy, he's the main man behind the scenes, one of the main men behind the scenes. He gets a lot done for us. It's the Dirty Jobs man at Dirty Jobs 21. Mike, what's happening?
What's going on, guys? Doing good, man. It's Scott Fishbowl season. There's nothing funner than that, man. I luckily this year I got my invite right out the gate, so there was no waiting this time. So it was kind of nice to sit back. Most of my invites have come like end of June and things like that, so it's very awesome. I'm very glad to be a part of it this year.
Man, this one might burn you and Nino a little bit, because Nino here is here as well. But Scott Fishbowl season is very big for you guys, because baseball season isn't, because the Red Sox are so far behind the Yankees right now. So it doesn't.
I'm about to boot the host.
All right. George Reed, if you're hearing him right there, he's another dude of ours at George Reed FF. I'm sorry, Nino. I'll let you go on next. George, how are we doing this evening?
Nino's got to pay his dues. I'm doing fantastic. Scott Fishbowl season, it is underway. It is probably one of the best times of the year, other than football season, when my Dolphins are doing good and when the Red Sox are doing good. I love seeing everybody get in for the first time. I love seeing all the way the community reacts to just complete total strangers getting in. It's just the sense of giving during this time is unparalleled to anything. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, man. And I'm surprised, you and Nino are right next to each other on the screen today. You guys had a little bit of a back and forth on
I love Nino.
Twitter. Going
I
back
love
and forth.
George is like the brother I never wanted, but
let me introduce Nino. It's at Nino Brown _T2T, and he is the mastermind behind Toilets to Titles Twitter. If you follow us on the Twitter at Toilets to Titles, he is the mastermind, with all of those tweets. And there was, there's usually one that some people, listen, there's millions of people on Twitter, and there's tons of us on there for fantasy football. So there's always going to be something that creates disagreement. And we, there was one today about top 10 ball hawks. Go follow Nino, go follow George. You can find the thread, or go follow the show. And they went back and forth a little bit. But Nino, how are we doing this evening?
I'm good. I'm excited. I love seeing my timeline flooded with the Scott Fishbowl. People get invites, and I like them all. It's great. It's just, that people are happy when they get that. I was excited. This is my first one. You know what I mean? And the anticipation every year, I was texting. I'm like, are they going to come? Am I going to get an invite? What do I got to do? I had no idea, but I'm ready, and I'm excited.
Man, well, one of the things you could have done if you weren't a member of Toilets to Titles is make a donation and comment under we posted a tweet. Well, you posted about getting in. We're doing a giveaway this evening. So if you were somebody who made a donation and you sent it to us and you got it in on time, there's a good chance. There's a possibility you could get it to Scott Fishbowl, and we're going to do that giveaway a little later on. So it's the season of giving. We're going to continue giving. All right, before we get into the show, I do want to let everybody know, if you are watching on the YouTube, it will be greatly appreciated If you like the show, throw us a comment, subscribe. All that stuff is very, very helpful. And we really appreciate you for doing that. Go to toiletstotitles.com. All of our articles. You could check out Chuck Steele. He's the newest member of Toilets to Titles. Not a fake name. Well, maybe a fake name, but still an awesome name. All right, check out
legend.
Chuck Steele. Yeah, he just did an article on Derek Carr, and he's got some other stuff coming down the pipe. So check him out. You got Nino's Dynasty Diamond series going on there. We got 4-minute episodes, and he recently talked about Jalen Tolbert. So you're going to want to see that. So you can scoop Jalen Tolbert up. He's draft capital for him isn't too high, man. I think him and Isaiah Spiller, those are going to be guys that are going to be great values down the stretch. But that's a whole nother discussion. I mean, maybe those are great SFB. That's a little bit of a tie-in. Maybe those are guys who are going to, help you win Scott Fishbowl this year. So, George, I'm going to pass it over to you. All right, why don't you lead this thing? Let's talk about Scott Fishbowl. Let's get some questions over to Ryan.
Not a problem. So, Ryan, real quick, if you want, can you, as my dogs start to bark, can you give a little bit of your background, where people can find your work? Obviously, they can follow you, Ryan MC on 23 on Twitter, but where can they follow all your work and all that?
Yeah, you can find all of my work on Dynasty League Football, and then do a podcast for them, couple of podcasts actually, DLF Dynasty Podcast. Also do Commission Impossible for DLF. Of course, that's with our buddy Scott Fish. And then I'm also the co-host of the Locked On Dynasty podcast.
Yeah, the Commission Impossible is one of my favorite podcasts that you guys do. I commission a bunch of leagues myself. So that's one that I definitely tune in to when you guys release it. And another one I tune in every time it gets released is the Bull Rush, which wasn't mentioned, which hurts my heart, to be honest. It really does.
Yeah. We'll see. We're like once every year and a half. So we'll see if we get another one out soon.
The last episode you guys released, I kid you not, I was tearing apart a house, and just the podcast just play the next one. And as soon as that theme hit, I looked up and I'm like, no. And I was so happy for just the surprise that it was released and I got to hear it. I was happy about it. But anyway, nice. Let's talk a little bit of Scott Fish. That's what we're all here for. You and Scott have grown this thing into an absolute monster. Do you care to give a little bit of the history behind the Scott Fish Bowl?
No, I'm glad to. And I will say Scott has grown this into a monster, and I'm just lending a hand when I can, when he needs me. So yeah, the Scott Fish Bowl began actually as a league that Scott put together. He had a site years ago, over 10 years ago, called FF Oasis. So he put together a redraft league, really just to bring the writers that he had, the content creators that he had for his site, along with the readers and some other folks from the industry. And again, this is 13 years ago, I believe. So this is quite a while ago. Fantasy football was very different. FF Twitter was certainly very different. But he put that league together, and it kind of grew every year, organically. The charity aspect wasn't there at that point. But again, the league was growing, and I know Scott took at least 1 year off when one of his kiddos was born. But once it kind of came back, the site was gone. FF Oasis was gone. He had closed it, but he wanted to keep the league going because that had been so popular. And at that point, he was also getting involved with the charity Toys for Tots. So, it just kind of became a natural thing that we're doing this league with the idea of bringing people together. Let's do it for a good cause. So started that charity aspect, raising money. And honestly, that's when it really took off. I think people saw how much good that Scott and that the industry were doing for Toys for Tots, for kids around the country, really, and wanted to be a part of it. And yeah, it's grown really every single year since then. I mean, we see it trending on Twitter every year. We hear it talked about on Sirius XM and on basically every fantasy football podcast that's out there. We see articles and ADP and tools being dedicated to it. So it is a monster, and it is credit to Scott and really credit to the whole industry that makes it happen.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who put in a lot of hard work. not just in front of the scenes, but behind the scenes
Yep.
to make that thing absolutely possible. That's God bless Scott. Like, he does a ton of work, but I couldn't imagine trying to take on something that size by myself. Like, there's no way. You mentioned the charity aspect of it. I know originally you mentioned it was Toys for Tots. In the last couple of years, I'm going to take some credit because I donate and I play in every year. So now automatically I'm now a part of Fishbowl. We donate to different charities every year. So what are the charities that have been donated to? Is it just the primary Toys for Tots this year, or is it going to be multiple again?
As far as I know, it is multiple. I know. I guess it really started a couple years ago. Once COVID had started, and I mean, things were obviously rough for people all over the country, and there were a lot of different needs, and of course, our country and our world were going through a lot with COVID, with racial injustice and all those things that we are well aware of over the past 2 or 3 years. And at that point, Scott decided, Toys for Tots is obviously a great cause that we all should support, but there's a lot of great causes out there. So it really turned into, if there's something that is, important to you as a player in this league, as a content creator, support that. So actually, when he did that, I thought, well, obviously the donations are going to drop. We're not going to see the type of funds being donated to Toys for Tots that we might have a couple of years ago or a couple of years prior, and that has not been the case. The Toys for Tots specific numbers have continued to increase, and then people are also supporting charities around the country that they also believe in, related to so many different causes and issues.
If you've not been a part of the FSB before and it's your first year, for example, Nino, like what are some things he can expect to see from within the community related to the Scott Fishbowl?
I mean, I think we're kind of already seeing it. I know one of the guys mentioned it, that you can't get on Twitter right now and not see mention of SFB 12. And I mean, we're still, we're still 2 or 3 weeks out. So it really does take over fantasy football Twitter in a good way. Everybody is sharing their team screenshots and the drafts that they're doing. They're talking about, again, the charities that they're supporting. The chats get out of hand, right? There's pick chats for depending on which pick spot you're in. There's league chats. I mean, you guys talked about it at the top of the show, just the sense of community that comes from that, getting to know people, whether they're other content creators or they're just, Scott calls them fans, but just your typical player that might not be a podcast host or a writer. Certainly obviously no shame in that. And I think at this point we've had more fans win than analysts. So, but again,
one year I came in 43rd. I came in 43rd. And nice. that was so I haven't been in the last 2 years. That one was I felt like I can't pass that. I don't know if I could top 43. So it's hard to chase that.
Yeah, I think that's probably better than I've ever finished. So
I've done it
a good mark for sure.
I've done it 5 years. I've only made the playoffs once. That was last year. So for some reason, the Scott Fishbowl, I've never had good luck. Nino, you want to jump in here and ask a couple questions?
I just wanted to hear about like the live draft. Like I just see a little bit about it. I don't know much about it, and I would love to learn a little bit about it.
Sure. So, I mean, that's kind of the big change this year. And I know that was something that Scott wanted to get into last year. It was an idea that he had. If we could take these drafts live across the country, how great would that be? And so it's kind of been brewing for a couple of years. And again, COVID impact and other things pushed it to this year. But I think the plan right now is we have 10 live draft cities, 10 cities across the country. I shouldn't say across the country, across North America. I think we have at least one in Canada. But we've got 10 live draft sites. Most of those will have at least 2 drafts actually happening. So we've got enough interest to have at least 2 at most of those. And I think the plan is to do the first 10 rounds live. Again, SFB is going to be a 22 round draft. So we'll do 10 rounds live. We've got one host or one person who's kind of set to be the host at each of those that Scott's basically put in charge for that site. And that's pretty much it. We're super excited to see how it goes. All of those live drafts will be hosted on Sleeper this year. That's another change. SFB has been exclusive to My Fantasy League in the past. So, of course, the impact Sleeper has had in the industry, can't be understated. So to kind of spread out and have leagues on both MFL and Sleeper is going to be a huge addition this year as well.
Yeah, I got selected for the live draft in Orlando. I believe nice. I believe Troy King is hosting that one. And I'm really looking forward to that.
I have a question.
Yeah, I think.
Sorry, go ahead. You can finish.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think Bob Gilchrist is involved in that one as well. Actually, we are. My family's headed down to Disney next week, and Bob shot me a message and tried to convince me to stay an extra week and jump in that live draft in Orlando. But I don't think the wife or the wallet is interested in that at all.
It's more the wallet. It's okay.
Oh no, it's more the wife.
Oh.
Where are you staying in Disney?
We are staying at Contemporary this time. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Right there, right on site. So I got a question. How is it going to work between having leagues on Sleeper and My Fantasy League? Like, how they're going to coexist? Like, can you get more into that? How that's going to work, please?
Sure. So each league, and I mean, we really have, dozens upon dozens of leagues that, for the most part, operate as just a 12-team league for most of the year. And then at some point, I think it's week 11 or 12, teams advance from those individual 12-team leagues into the playoffs. And once that happens, really Scott starts keeping up with things on his own website, on scottfishbowl.com, which actually he does throughout the season. But once you advance to the playoffs, you can still, of course, see how your team is doing. You'll obviously still set your lineup and do your waivers on your league site, whether it's Sleeper or MFL. Then to see how you're comparing or how you're doing against the other playoff teams, you'll look at scottfishbowl.com. So he'll be able to pull live scores from both Sleeper and MFL and compile those there.
What happens if Sleeper acknowledges Cordero Patterson as a running back and My Fantasy League says nope? It's Scott Fish, it's what he decides, or what? Like, will there be a feud? Will there be a vote? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, luckily for that specific example, MFL has moved Patterson to a running back. So I think everybody's in agreement on that one. But you're right. I mean, we have had those things happen from time to time. Patterson last year, Ty Montgomery a few years ago was one that was listed as a wide receiver in some spots, running back at others. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. That would be a interesting challenge for Scott.
Everybody's favorite player from the New Orleans Saints, Mr. Taysom Hill.
Tight end.
Yeah, he's designated a tight end right now.
Yeah, I think he's tight end everywhere, like you said. For now, we'll see how they use him. And I know the MFL policy is once the season starts, they don't change player position.
Correct.
I don't know if Sleeper is the same. I would assume they probably are.
I use Sleeper for all of my charity leagues, and I don't recall them changing positions in the middle of the season last year. So I think once the season starts, they're locked and they are what they are. So,
that's a good question though.
Yeah, absolutely it is. Do you want to go over so Scott every year when he does this, he does unique scoring, and it's probably one of my other favorite things about this league is there's no one way to draft. You could build your team multiple different ways because of the way the scoring is set up. Do you want to talk about how the scoring is set this year and a little bit about the third round reversal?
Sure. I will say first, if you played in SFB 11, if you played last year, there's not too many changes from the scoring. So if you're kind of thinking about your strategy from last year or how your team ended up, how your draft went, it's going to be pretty similar this year. There are a couple notable changes. One of Scott's goals, like you said, George, is really to kind of balance out the positions. They're super flex leagues, but he didn't want it to basically turn into an everything quarterback type league. And I mean, we've all seen it happen in our own fantasy leagues that bad quarterback play is rewarded with fantasy points, right? Whether it's a garbage time situation, whether, we see Blake Bortles throw 3 picks and 4 touchdowns and he ends up as a top 5 or top 10 quarterback for the week or something like that. Scott wanted to eliminate that. So if you're a quarterback that's making mistakes, you're going to lose points. -4 points for an interception. That is tough. So there were plenty of times last year we saw negative points from quarterbacks. I saw it too many times on my own team, unfortunately. Last year there was some negative points. There was a penalty for quarterbacks taking sacks. Scott actually took that out this year, so that's out. There was also a penalty for a pick 6. So last year, if a quarterback, let's call him Jameis Winston, if he threw a pick 6, lost the 4 points for the interception, and then lost 2 more points if the defender scored. So -6 for a pick 6 was tough. That's gone this year. The -4 is still there, but not the punishment for the touchdown. I know kicker scoring is going to be kind of the big deal this year, which feels crazy to say, but that's how it's going to be. Scott really upped the kicker scoring. Last year he had the option. He gave us the option to flex kickers, use kickers in the flex spot. Didn't have a required kicker spot. And honestly, just not that many people took advantage of it, even though some of those kickers were giving us, consistent scoring in the 10 to 15 point range. And because of that, he wanted to push it a little further, right? Push the envelope a little. So the kicker scoring has been increased. I think we're going to see a lot of kickers being drafted this year and being started on a weekly basis. Other than that, the scoring is pretty typical. Some of the things that Scott has introduced or kind of made commonplace over the years are still there. Points for first downs, tight end premium scoring, those things are there. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I'm forgetting anything.
Is there still the negative points for incompletions?
Yes. Yeah. So you get half a point per completion. You lose a point for an incomplete pass. So basically you want those quarterbacks who are completing at least 2/3 of their passes. I talked about the negative points for pick 6s and for sacks. That's where the other negative points for quarterbacks come on that completion percentage. So you need the completion, sure. What I leave out there, George?
Not a whole lot.
Reversal. Yeah,
the third round reversal.
Yeah. So third round reversal. Again, that's one of the things that that Scott believes in and really just wants to include in here. I think it's a setting that's becoming, I wouldn't say common, but certainly more widely used and accepted in the industry and in the hobby in general. But essentially, when it gets to the third round, we're flipping spots. So having the 101 used to be just such a huge advantage, right? You get the first player overall, whoever you want, and then you get 2 more guys that are in the top 25 when you get that 2-12 and 3-1 pick. So in a third round reversal, we're just flipping things from the third round on. So you get the 101, you get the 212, but then you get the 312, the 401, and so on. It just like the name suggests, it reverses once you get to the third round.
Nino, you doing okay down there? You know what you signed up for?
I'm good, man. My late quarterback drafting of Jameis Winston and Davis Mills might have to be rethought, but we'll see. We'll see what we're doing here.
We got Tater Wolf saying that he loves the penalty for being under 66.67% completions.
Yeah,
Mac Jones will be good.
Yeah. He throws 4 times a game. Dude, Ryan, do you, when you are doing your draft, do you have a specific spot you prefer to draft from? And
usually. Oh. Sorry, you broke up a little bit. I think I caught you there. Typically, Scott puts himself and me in the 101 spot. We can make those picks early, get them out of the way, and then if anything is needed with the drafts, we can help out. If we need to replace people, which happens every single year, right? We get over 2,000 people in a draft, and when it comes draft day, somebody doesn't show up and they lose their spot. So it's going to happen this year again. If it comes SFB draft day and you're not in, don't give up hope. There's still a small chance. But I kind of backed off that this year, honestly, George. I didn't want the 101 this year. I don't even know who I would take if I had the 101. I mean, probably Josh Allen, but I don't feel like that's a slam dunk. We'll see what that early ADP says. I know people are out there running mock drafts and getting some pre-SFB ADP that will be a little helpful to us. But I moved down. I think I'm picking 5 right now. So just closer to the middle is where I wanted to be this year.
So in previous years, we've had some crazy players drafted in the first round. And you also touched on don't give up getting in, because on the first day of the draft there are people who don't show up, which happens probably more frequently than people believe. What is it like on the initial draft day for you, and maybe a little bit for Scott as well, if you know? Once the drafts start going and people don't show up, like how do you guys react to that?
Well, it's tough because you're watching, again, dozens of drafts. Maybe I guess hundreds of drafts really, simultaneously. And I mean, really the goal of day one, and it typically takes until day 2 actually of SFB, but the goal is just to get everybody through round 1, right? Let's just get everybody through round 1. Everybody has made at least 1 pick. We know everybody is logged into the site. Everybody's made that pick. And if we have timeouts from there, so be it. If we have missed picks, whatever. But once we know everybody's at least somewhat active, engaged, it's just a huge sigh of relief. But until then, again, we're watching every single draft and just hoping everybody shows up. We have, we've got that timer. I think it's typically 8 hours, but we're honestly putting the pressure on people to pick pretty quickly in round 1. After that, again, don't care as much. Take your time if you want to take your time, or if you have conflicts or whatever, no big deal. But in round 1, we're pushing people to get going and just to make sure they're actually going to show up. All
right. Our last question that we have on on the sheet, and then I'll throw it to Mike and Nino if they have anything they want to follow up with. Somebody put on here, who's the most famous person to play in the Scott Fishbowl? And then I added in parentheses, why is it Matthew Berry?
Yeah, I don't know. It probably is Matthew Berry. We've had definitely some celebrities join in. I remember when Berry first played. I can't remember which SFB it was. It was several years ago, and he had never participated before. I know, he's had some conflicts, obviously, with his work. He can't always say yes to everything he might want to. But we were, it was day one of SFB. I was actually on vacation with my family. I'm trading messages with Scott, and he says, we've got this person who no-showed or whatever the situation was. And I was like, okay, I'll jump on Twitter. I'll jump in my leagues. I'll find somebody to replace this person. And he says, wait a minute, I may have someone, just a second. And that someone ended up being Matthew Berry as the replacement. So imagine you're in that league, you're playing with, whoever it might be, and not showing up, and the replacement is Matthew Berry. So that was, I'm sure that was a shock to those guys and girls in that league. But yeah, Matthew's in it again. We've had some other celebrities certainly that people would know. Shane Battier, former NBA player, has played in it before.
Didn't Shane just go on the scottfishbowl.com and just apply like everybody else? He didn't reach out behind the scenes.
As far as I know, that he did. Yep. And
I believe I heard Scott. People. Yeah, I believe I've heard Scott tell that story that he reached out to him to make sure it was actually Shane Battier and not somebody trying to impersonate him or whatnot.
Yeah,
that's cool. Do you know if there's any NFL players that actually get in this thing?
There's none that I know of.
Okay.
Yeah, not as far as I know. We've had some actors, James Roday has played in it multiple times. Jerry Ferrara from Entourage has played in SFB before. Tom Everett Scott has played in SFB before. So pretty cool to be in a league with those guys that you see in the movies or on TV.
I think Scott should ban baseball players from playing in it. We don't need that kind of publicity. If something should go wrong where somebody's misusing an IR spot, we don't need that.
That's passion. That's passion. Let them play. You know what I mean? And it just takes a good commissioner. And Scott, right? We got commissioners. They'll take care of it. Let the baseball players play, man. It's Mike Trout's fault.
It's Mike Trout's fault.
It's not Mike Trout's fault. It's not Mike Trout's fault. He's a good commissioner. Exactly. Now George, on the other hand.
I told Scott, let's get Fam, and let's get
Tommy.
Let's get Jock. Let's get Tommy Fam. Let's get Jock Peterson here. Get them in the same league in SFB, and we'll figure it out.
Awesome.
So,
yeah,
that would be pretty cool. Nino, Mike, you guys got any questions that you want to ask?
I got one question. I'm in a lot of leagues, 20 plus, and all the drafts take forever, over a week.
Yep.
There is no trading in Scott Fishbowl, correct? No
that
trading
is correct.
draft picks?
No trading. No trading. No trading at all. In season or in the draft. Honestly, there's some things when you have a league that size, you just have to limit, and that's one of them. So, there's good and bad that comes with that, but that's just kind of the reality of the type of league we're dealing with thousands of people in it.
Right.
You just said thank God, but you probably sent 7 trade offers while this show's been going on right now.
I meant during the draft, dude. I hate the draft. I hate the fact that you get 12 hours and everybody goes right down to the last second. I'm in the middle of a deal. Dude, you had 12 hours. 12.
and most of those people are lying.
Yeah, right.
it's poker face. It's trying to get an offer, speaking from experience.
I felt bad for George because I must have sent George about 40 Twitter alerts saying, hey, I got another trade.
Another one.
Another one.
No, don't bother me none at all. All right, let's go ahead and get into our Scott Fishbowl giveaway. So, if you're not aware, what we did is we had Nino created a tweet from our Toilets to Titles Twitter account, which everybody here should be following. And only thing we asked for to get entered into the contest was, in the spirit of Scott Fishbowl, post proof of yourself doing something charitable. It could be, a beach cleanup. It could be feeding the homeless. It could be making a monetary contribution to a charity. As long as it's considered a charity work, that was the criteria to get in. And we got some responses here. What I went ahead and did is I went ahead and put everybody's name on a wheel. Let me see if I can get this working. I was struggling with it earlier, but we'll see if I can get it working. I put everybody's name.
Oh, go ahead.
I put everybody's name on a wheel, and we're just going to randomize the wheel 3 times as soon as I get it pulled up. And
while you're getting it pulled up, I'll mention, who they were and the donations they made. We had Jacob at Real BVJ, fundraising and recruiting for making strides against cancer. Dan Kolka at DBK_VTD, recurring donations to Jubilee Church. FF Dojo at all 22 finalists, donation to National Wildlife Foundation and planting trees. Will at Will_I_am 505, donation to Feeding America. Casper Dreyer at Micah_Dynasty FF, donation to Danish Cancer Society. Josh at Rotonaut, donation to Feeding America. Colin S. at New England Fan 12, donation to Walk to Cure Alzheimer's. Lee Cooper at Lee_Cooper 76, donation to St. Jude. Chris McConnell at Chris McC, donation to Cares of Farmington Hills. Fantasy Football Guy at FF Bald Guy, second annual Wigs for Kids Charity League. Diego at Diego isn't funny. Urban Rescue Ranch nonprofit. So that's it, man. Those are the ones.
All right. So we got we got them all on here. Scott actually said I was allowed to give away 2 spots. So what I went ahead and did, just for a little bit of fun, is I got 2 spots on here. One that says spin again, and the other one that says give away 2 spots. So when I spin the wheel, if it lands on spin again, clearly I'm going to spin again. If it lands on give away 2 spots, we're going to give away 2 spots tonight. And more. Can you guys see the wheel?
Oh yeah, we see it, baby.
We see it. It's colorful.
Yep. Spin it, baby.
Anybody?
We see it. Oh, George is gone. The wheel is gone.
And so what happened
this is all part of the plan. So we're really trying to
suspense.
What we're really trying to do is we've been growing our YouTube channel. So we have almost 600 subscribers now. We have 10 viewers. So we're really trying to get our view hours up. And we know if we spin the wheel at 35 minutes in, you guys are going to cut out then. So we're going to try to, at least push it to 45 minutes. And the only reason I'm telling you is because I'm also trying to build bond and trust. So I'm telling you what we're doing so that you're more comfortable with us, so that you will come back. So it's twofold. All right. So it's all makes sense.
I'll be reenacting Star Wars movies.
Yeah. why don't you get out the #1 fan thumb? Where's the Broncos #1 fan thumb? It's got to be close.
Let's go.
My daughter's
#1.
And she's sleeping on it. So I think my daughter might have taken over the #1 Broncos fan from me.
Right.
I think she really liked that Russell Wilson trade, even though she's only a year and a half old. I think she's pretty excited about that.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't like the Russell Wilson trade?
You know what is a cool thing that I've noticed in the last couple of days is the new avatars I see for the Scott Fishbowl all over Twitter. Yeah, they're very unique. Some of these that they make, man, it takes a lot of thought and effort into it. I like
credit. Jared's. Jared Gray at Jared Gray, Nino's co-host on P2P. His is pretty sweet. So go. I think it's at Jared Gray. Just as simple as that. Jared is Jarod. Go follow him and check his out. All right, George is back. George, what's happening?
Woo!
Oh,
good?
yeah.
Man, I don't know what happened. I went over to the other screen. I spun the wheel, and I don't know what happened.
Don't tell us because we're gonna spin it all over again.
Oh,
All right,
okay. All right.
Let's go.
That's fine.
Yeah, so we avoid anybody saying, "Oh, we didn't see it," blah blah blah. Let's
That's
post it.
fine. That's fine.
Let's show it for him.
George is still using his military issue computer from 1994.
It's older than that, my friend. It's way older than that.
Speaking of Disney, Ryan, when you go to Epcot, if you go in Spaceship Earth, there's a scene in there where you go through like the first computer being built.
Yes.
Like you'll see it when you're up there. That's what George is using.
I remember.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's what
gotcha,
George is
yeah.
using. All right.
He's out in the garage. He's
Yeah.
So if
He's
you
still gonna
if you
dot
really want,
Matrix Sprint though.
if you really want to know what happened, is my daughter picked up my landline, and when she did that, it disconnected me from the internet. That's really what happened.
We're gonna blame your daughter, huh? That's
All
the
right.
easy way out. Huh? But
Well, Dirty Jobs just did it with the Broncos thumb, so now George is doing it. All right, George, pull it up. Where's this circle at? Where's this wheel?
Oh, dude, I had to close that tab down. It
it's
froze
a circle of
everything.
hope. Come on.
All right, I'm gonna while we're still waiting, while
On.
George is pulling that up, I'm gonna discuss Frankenstein a little bit with Ryan. So we're not, we're
Okay.
killing two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
So this is a league. So we started this show. We're going into our third season. It was me, Justin Stevens, who's at JustinFF_, and Nate at Nate_Dirt19. And we wanted to do something fun. So we started with a 14-team league. We wanted it to be a listener league. We wanted it to be interesting enough that people would talk about it. And hopefully they talk about it with their friends and would bring some attention to our show. So it was twofold. But also, I'm the type of guy where I kind of get manic. I go into states where I can just, my brain just runs, And I have periods like that. So I was just working with my man, Justin. And, we wanted it to be vampire style, but we wanted it to be a twist. So we called it Frankenstank, right? So because toilets, the titles, stank, we just feel like it fits, right? And we wanted it to be vampire style, but we wanted it to be Frankenstank's version of vampire style. So what we did with it was you could steal from your opponent's starting roster, but you have to give back somebody from your starting roster. And we wanted to have crazy scoring bonuses, so we put tons of scoring bonuses in there. We wanted everybody in the league to be themed after a monster. And first year went great. Second year we went up to 3 12-team divisions. We added some. We had some fun with the division names. We have Night of the Living Silent but Deadlies, Frankenstein, Creature from the Staff Bathroom. This year we added Phantom of the Porta Potty, and what's the other one in there?
I got the urinal.
Oh, the invisible urinal. And I already got names for next year. So now we're up to 5 12-team divisions. We have 60 teams in there. And next year I got King, the Mummy's Toot is one of them, and the Bidet of Frankenstein. Oh man, those are supposed to be secrets. So if you listen to this league, you already know. Dang, I released one the other day. I wasn't supposed to say them both, but the thing is, next year the winner, I'm going to allow the winner to create a name. We got this bobblehead made up. So two of these went out. They're little Frankenstein bobbleheads to the winners, and this year we added playable cards. So that's something that I think a lot of us was influenced by Scott Fish. But we just wanted to put some twists on it with crazy scoring, monster scoring, essentially, right? Because it's a monster-themed league, so the bonuses are huge. The scoring's huge. But now this year, what's kind of making us unique is we created 12 playable cards. And so, like, one of them is called the Mummy, right? So you can draft the Mummy. Oh, and the draft's nuts, too. We could talk all about that. Like, each round has a specific – round 1, you draft just rookies. Round 2, you draft just veterans but not quarterbacks. Round 3, you draft just quarterbacks. So and then it goes into normal. But the playable cards, one of them is called the Mummy, and you draft it, and it's also vampireable if that's a word. Like somebody could take it from your roster if you don't use it. And say you had a bunch of buys last week, right? You had 4 players on buy, and you started a lineup that this week would be not ideal for you. I can play the Mummy card, and you have to play your last week's lineup, And so and then vampire, like there's a Dracula card where I can play it after the week, and my wide receiver can bite your wide receiver and take 20% of his points. And then we have a leprechaun card, like the leprechaun, And this one, you have to tune into the show Tuesday night because we'll spin a wheel, the wheel of luck, and you'll see what that leprechaun card becomes. So those are some things we were working on. You have any thoughts on that?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I think I just started playing in Vampire Leagues a couple of years ago, and I don't know if you guys experienced this with that league or with others, but those became my most important leagues, right? Even though maybe I had more money on the line in other leagues, or trying to win a title or in other leagues or what have you. Those leagues where I knew if I just won, I could steal a player for my opponent, became the highest stakes of the week for me. That I really cared about the most. So I love Vampire Leagues or any twist on them. Sounds like you've got a good group and definitely a very cool league there.
Yeah, and one thing, luckily we have now, we went from 3 people at Toilets of Titles. We have about 15 now. And with all these divisions, with the only bad thing about a Vampire League is you need to make sure everybody gets their steals in before waivers, so that then you could run waivers. And so it is a little bit of a process, but we're working out the kinks. We're only going into year 3, but it is a lot of fun. But George, are we ready to rock and roll with this wheel or what?
Sir, I've got all the names loaded into the wheel. Let's see if we've worked out these kinks. I told my daughter to stay off the phone, so hopefully I don't lose everybody again. Give me one
George,
second.
I will tell you, it looks like a couple of these people may already be in. So once we have a winner, I'll do a quick check and see if we need to spin again, I guess.
Awesome.
Right.
So they may not
wait.
They
So
might
these
not
people,
even know that they're in,
that's
which
what I'm
is
saying.
even better.
That's huge. So they're getting an entry anyway. Man, that's awesome.
They're gonna get live
They're-
on television knowing they're in. I mean, live on YouTube.
There's a couple people here on this list that are already set to get an invite probably tomorrow.
That is absolutely fantastic. So let's can you guys see the wheel? Because I can't.
Let me pull it up.
I'm wheelless.
It is loading. It's loading, but we can see a fishbowl. So that's what we're here for. All right, it's clicking to spin, George.
All right, let me do some shuffling. I don't want to be accused of cheating here. So we'll do 1, 2.
Let me ask this: are you guys all in?
3.
I'm not.
Yes.
I am.
Oh.
Mike is. So I submitted to get in. I wasn't in last year, but this year I'm not in.
Look at that!
You're in now. You're in now.
Oh, all right. Hell yeah. I'm in, baby. Love it. Thank you. Can't beat
All
it.
right.
Away 2
Can
spots.
you guys see what the wheel landed on?
Wow.
So
Give
we
away
are
2
giving away
spots to the
2
SFB
spots
Pro.
tonight.
We just gave away a third. I got in too. So how about that?
What an episode. This is great.
It's like Christmas on Toilets and Titles.
Oh, lovely.
This is fantastic. All right, so we're
no.
we're giving away 2 spots. Let's
right,
spin the
let's
wheel,
do
see
it.
who the first.
Casper Driver.
All right, first one I have. I don't know if it shows on your guys'
Is
screen.
he in, Ryan, or
Okay.
no?
Yep.
Hang on just a second.
Drum roll, please.
If he's not in,
Regardless.
he's in.
Regardless, you're in, Casper.
You are in, Casper.
Casper's already in.
Get
Spin
out.
again.
Spin again.
Oh, we're gonna put everybody in. Let's just spin it again.
The suspense is killing me. What we got? I hear clapping, but I don't see. Lee Cooper. Is Lee Cooper in?
We got Lee Cooper. Lee Cooper.
All right. Lee was not in. Lee is in now.
All
though.
right, Lee
Yes!
in.
Yes, Lee for the W.
All right, we got to make sure we write this down. So
All
we can,
right.
if he's not watching. make sure we get it submitted. All right, we got one more to give away for those listening at home.
I'll take care of that. And one more giveaway. Let's see what we got.
Ooh, who is it?
Clapping.
Clapping. There is clapping.
Football guy.
It's my
Bald
favorite
guy.
Twitter name of all time.
The bald guy.
That FF bald guy. Is he
Yeah,
in?
FF Bald Guy. I love that.
It looks like if I have the Twitter handle right, FF Bald Guy is not even signed up.
All right, so we got it.
Ooh.
So I can't put anybody in if they're not signed up.
Well, make sure you go sign up there.
If
bald
you're
guy.
not signed up, we
Quickly.
can't put you in.
We'll
No, we're gonna spin again. We're gonna spin again.
Oh, spinning again. FF ball guy eliminated by default.
No, I think we got to give him
drop
a
the
shot.
ball.
He could still sign up. Maybe there's a miscommunication there. We got to give him a chance here. He made the donation. Bald guy, I'm fighting for you.
All right. Well, here you
Ball,
go.
don't lie.
Oh,
don't lie,
Ryan,
George.
I'll let
the ball. Hey,
Ryan. Let's let Ryan make the call. Does he get in, even though he's not signed up, or
If he signs up, I think we give. Maybe he did sign up. Something was missing.
Okay, so I looked on Twitter. FF Bald Guy is not an account, so I don't know if there's an underscore in there or something. Maybe.
See, something we missed something with this bald fella.
let me do some investing.
You could just.
I see F foot Bald Guy. Maybe that's it.
It's clever. Another
FF
clever name.
Foot Bald Guy.
Play
I don't
on
know if
words
it's the
there.
same one.
Play on words there.
I gotta get on my
FF
chef the
ball,
phone here.
ball.
I gotta get on the chef the phone.
All right. Well, we did get.
I've got it. Nina, I've got everything pulled up right here. Just give me 1 second.
All
All
right.
right, thank you, sir.
See, bald guy, you'll remember I fought for you.
Well, I think the bald guy's gonna take this one. I'm confident in the bald guy with the W.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And sorry to all of you who are hoping that we wouldn't give it to bald guy. I apologize.
Sorry.
Yeah, we may not. We may
don't-
not give it to him.
It was a
It might not even
technical
be real.
typo.
It might not be.
Nina, you're gonna have to pull up your Schefter phone. I don't see it on the post.
Is this a
I think it
made-up
was a
person?
screenshot I
Is-
gave you, sir. Hold on, chef the phone's open.
Was it okay? It was a screenshot you gave me. That's why.
And
It
again,
is.
remember earlier in the
At
show when I referred
F-
to. Oh, go
it's-
ahead.
At F foot bald guy.
All right. I found him. He is not in. He is in now.
Boom.
That's it.
Was he
Uh,
signed
Chef the
up?
phone.
He was signed up. Yeah.
All right.
Once we got the
Boom.
Twitter account right, we found him. Let's
Okay,
spin one more
awesome.
time. Let's
Yes,
one more
sir.
spin.
One more time.
Yeah, why not?
Oh,
We're going for another
right,
spin.
let's
We got
go.
3. We're giving
Well,
3 away.
wheel don't lie. Then again,
Let's go.
there is hope.
There is hope if you're listening. There is hope.
Stay tuned.
Man, who would have thought? We got this is the 4th entry given away this evening.
Ryan is like Santa Claus today.
Will I am 505.
Will
All right. Let me check what we
underscore
got
I
here.
underscore am 505.
No black eyed peas.
Will is not in, but Will is in now.
All right, there we go,
Boom.
Will. And that might be maybe that's Will.
And I think that's Will in the chat over here. So
All right, so Will I am is in. Man, that is
Yeah, Will's in the
for-
chat
Yes.
too. He's
Will, I hope you're
Get it.
fired up, man. And Ryan, thank you so much for helping us grant all of the wishes of some of the followers of our show who again made donations. But man, that was awesome of you to give away another entry there, and thank you for giving me an entry. I can't wait because now I can take part in what the
Oh no, we
Oh,
lost
no.
him.
Why'd you
I don't
kick
know
me?
what the heck happened right there.
You kicked me out. I was just saying.
He's so excited he left.
He got super excited.
See, I got so excited. My power went out. It was like a Monsters Inc. reference. You know what I mean? Joy made I overcharged the transformer outside.
Come on back, Sheps.
All right. Anybody have anything to say before we wrap this bad boy up?
No, just
thanks
how
for having me.
incredibly awesome was that.
Oh,
That was
okay.
so neat right there. That was really cool. You could just see the excitement in the chat and everything like that. That was really nice. Cool, kick ass.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. And if you're one of those listeners who made a donation, I would just say, keep watching your inbox over the next couple of days.
There you go.
Ooh, is that a teaser? That's a little teaser right there.
Ooh.
Reel it in a little bit. All right. Well, hey, everybody listening at home, we appreciate you listening. We appreciate you being subscribed. Again, if you're on the YouTube and you're not subscribed yet, hit that button, hit the bell. You'll be alerted every time we go live. I think right now we're at like 5 episodes a week. Then you have Dynasty Diamonds dropping here and there. Friday night, I'm going live with Kyle Yeomans from DallasCowboys.com to do a Dallas Cowboys off-season breakdown. And make sure, I'm sure you're already, if you're following us, there's probably a 99% chance you were following Ryan first at Ryan Mac MC 23 on the Twitter. If you're not, you want to make sure you go check him out. And again, like he said, if you are in the chat, if you made that donation and you didn't get an entry, keep an eye on that inbox because there's a good chance something might be coming your way. Check out toiletsandtitles.com. Everybody have a good week. And Ryan, thanks again for coming on, and we will catch you all later on.
Thanks, guys.